Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time in your life when you must stop waiting for someone to rescue you, stop blaming circumstances, and stop pointing fingers at the world. The truth is simple: if your life is going to change, it's going to be because you take full responsibility for it. You see, responsibility is not a burden, it is your greatest power. The moment you decide to own your story, to stop making excuses, and to step into the driver's seat of your life, that's the moment everything begins to shift. Life is not going to hand you success wrapped in a golden box. You've got to fight for it, sacrifice for it, and show the world that you're serious. Yes, you may have been dealt a tough hand, but it's not the cards you're given, it's how you play them. Some people are waiting for the right time, the right opportunity, the right conditions. Let me tell you, the right time is now. The right opportunity is the one in front of you, and the right conditions will never exist. You have to create them. Taking responsibility means no longer saying, "I can't because," and instead saying, "I will until." It means standing tall even when life knocks you down. It means taking ownership of your decisions, your dreams, and your destiny. So ask yourself, are you ready to stop blaming and start building? Are you ready to stop waiting and start working? Because the life you desire is not waiting for someone else to give it to you, it is waiting for you to claim it. The world does not owe you anything, but you owe yourself everything. Get up, take control, and write the story of your life with boldness, with courage, and with responsibility. Taking responsibility for your life is the single most powerful decision you will ever make. The moment you stop blaming others, stop pointing at circumstances, and stop waiting for someone else to fix your problems, that is the moment your life begins to change. Responsibility gives you power because it puts the pen of your life story back in your own hands. When you blame others, you hand them control over your destiny. You say, "I can't move forward because of what they did or because of what happened to me." But when you claim responsibility, you are saying, "Yes, I've been through challenges. Yes, I faced obstacles, but I refuse to let that define me. I decide how the next chapter of my life will unfold." That shift in mindset is where real freedom begins. Responsibility doesn't mean everything that happens to you is your fault. No, what it means is that you accept the truth that your response is your responsibility. You cannot control the storms of life, but you can control how you sail your ship through them. And when you embrace that, nothing, absolutely nothing, can keep you stuck for long. Think about it, every great success story is built on the foundation of responsibility. The world's most successful people did not wait for life to hand them opportunities. They created them. They didn't sit back and blame the system, their past, or their surroundings. They took ownership of their dreams and acted with courage, persistence, and determination. That is the true essence of power. Responsibility also changes how you see yourself. Instead of viewing yourself as a victim of your circumstances, you begin to see yourself as the architect of your future. You realize that your choices today are shaping the person you will become tomorrow. And when you adopt that perspective, you stop wasting time on excuses and start building habits that empower you. Now, let me remind you, responsibility is not always easy. It requires discipline. It requires humility. It requires that you look in the mirror and say, "If my life is going to change, it starts with me." That can be uncomfortable, but it is necessary. Growth is never comfortable, but it is always worth it. When you finally embrace responsibility, you unlock a strength you didn't even know you had. You stop waiting for opportunities, and you start creating them. You stop complaining about what you don't have, and you start using what you do have. You realize that responsibility is not a weight, it is wings. And when you wear it proudly, it lifts you to heights you never imagined possible. Blame is easy. It's convenient. It gives you someone or something to point the finger at when things don't go the way you wanted. But here's the truth: blame builds nothing. Every second you spend blaming others is a second stolen from the time you could be using to build your dream. Excuses never built a business, never healed a relationship, never created a legacy. Action does. When you blame, you trap yourself in the past. You rehearse the same story over and over. "I could have done more if they supported me. I could have gone further if life wasn't so unfair." That story might feel comforting for a while, but it keeps you stuck. You can't rewrite the past, but you can redesign your future. The question is, will you spend your energy looking backward, or will you use it to build forward? Blame is the language of the powerless, but building is the language of the powerful. Builders look at their situation, no matter how hard it is, and they say, "This may not be perfect, but I'm going to use what I've got." Builders take bricks that life throws at them and stack them into walls of strength. Into foundations of progress, you don't have to wait for better conditions to build. You start with the tools in your hands today. Think about the people you admire, the ones who've overcome incredible odds. They didn't let blame hold them hostage. They didn't say, "It's because of my background, my family, my failures." Instead, they said, "Yes, I've been through pain. Yes, I've been knocked down, but I will build anyway." That's why their stories inspire us, because they chose creation over complaint. Blaming others also takes away your power. It says someone else holds the keys to your future, but when you start building, you take the keys back. You say, "I may not control everything, but I can control what I do next. I can control my work ethic. I can control my focus. I can control my persistence." That is how ordinary people achieve extraordinary results, by shifting their focus from blame to building. And let's be honest, building isn't glamorous at first. It's sweaty, it's messy. Sometimes it feels like nobody sees your effort, but every brick you lay, every hour you invest, every skill you sharpen, it all compounds. Slowly, piece by piece, you're building a future that excuses could never deliver. So when you feel the temptation to point fingers, stop and remind yourself every excuse is a stone wasted, but every effort is a stone laid. Blame will leave you with empty hands, but building will leave you with a structure. Something solid, something lasting, something that proves you chose action over excuses. Life will not always deal you a fair hand. Some people are born into privilege, while others are born into struggle. Some get opportunities handed to them, while others have to fight tooth and nail for every inch of progress. That's reality. But here's the secret. Fairness is not the foundation of greatness. Strength is, and strength is built in the very moments when life feels unfair. When you spend your energy wishing life were fair, you waste the fuel you need to grow stronger. Complaining about how things should be does not change how they are. But deciding to rise above your circumstances, deciding to play the hand you've been dealt with everything you've got, that's where transformation begins. It's not the easy paths that shape champions, it's the rough ones. Think about it, some of the greatest stories of success, resilience, and triumph came from people who faced circumstances that were anything but fair. They didn't get the smooth road, they got the road filled with potholes, storms, and setbacks. And yet they pressed on. Why? Because they understood that while life may not be fair, they had the power to be stronger. Unfairness tests your character. It asks you, will you fold or will you fight? Will you let the weight of injustice crush you, or will you turn it into resistant training for your soul? Every obstacle, every barrier, every moment when life seems tilted against you, it's an invitation to grow tougher, wiser, and more resilient. That's how strength is forged. The truth is, strength doesn't come from easy days. It doesn't come from everything going your way. Strength comes from the storms that try to break you but fail. It comes from pushing forward when quitting would be easier. It comes from standing tall when life knocks you flat on your back. Fairness doesn't build that kind of strength, adversity does. When you accept that life isn't fair, you stop expecting it to be easy. And when you stop expecting it to be easy, you're no longer shocked when challenges arrive. You're prepared. You face them head on with grit and determination. You no longer waste time feeling cheated. You use that energy to keep climbing. You realize that unfairness may slow you down, but it cannot stop you unless you let it. So yes, life may not hand you the same opportunities as someone else. Yes, you may have to work harder, sacrifice more, and endure greater challenges. But here's the power. Those very struggles will shape you into someone unstoppable. Life may not be fair, but you, my friend, were built to be stronger. Life will not always deal you a fair hand. Some people are born into privilege, while others are born into struggle. Some get opportunities handed to them, while others have to fight tooth and nail for every inch of progress. That's reality. But here's the secret. Fairness is not the foundation of greatness. Strength is. And strength is built in the very moments when life feels unfair. When you spend your energy wishing life were fair, you waste the fuel you need to grow stronger. Complaining about how things should be does not change how they are. But deciding to rise above your circumstances, deciding to play the hand you've been dealt with everything you've got, that's where transformation begins. It's not the easy paths that shape champions, it's the rough ones. Think about it, some of the greatest stories of success, resilience, and triumph came from people who faced circumstances that were anything but fair. They didn't get the smooth road, they got the road filled with potholes, storms, and setbacks, and yet they pressed on. Why? Because they understood that while life may not be fair, they had the power to be stronger. One of the greatest lies people tell themselves is, "I'll start when the time is right." They wait for the stars to align, for the conditions to be perfect, for life to roll out a red carpet of opportunity. But let me tell you, there will never be a perfect time. If you're waiting for everything to be just right before you take action, you will be waiting for the rest of your life. The truth is, conditions will never be flawless. There will always be challenges, always be reasons to delay, always be something that makes you doubt whether now is the right time. If you look for an excuse not to move, you'll find one every single day. But if you choose to act in spite of the obstacles, you discover something powerful. Progress does not wait for perfection. Think about the people who've achieved greatness. They didn't start when everything was convenient. They didn't wait until they had more money, more time, or more support. They started where they were with what they had, and they built along the way. The perfect moment didn't create them. Their decision to move created the moment. Perfection is a trap because it convinces you that preparation must be endless. You keep planning, preparing, and polishing, but never launching. The problem is, life rewards action, not endless preparation. You learn more by doing than by waiting. You grow more by trying than by hesitating. And you succeed more by moving forward with imperfect steps than by standing still with perfect excuses. When you take action, even in less than ideal conditions, you create momentum. Momentum is powerful because it carries you forward, even through setbacks. It teaches you lessons that no book, no plan, no theory can teach. Every step you take, whether you stumble or succeed, gets you closer to the life you want. And that only happens when you stop waiting for perfect timing and start moving now. Opportunities don't always come wrapped in shiny packages. Sometimes they show up disguised as problems, challenges, or small doors that no one else notices. If you're waiting for the grand opening, your dream, you might miss the small crack in the wall that was meant to be your entrance. That's why action is everything. You create opportunities by moving, not by waiting. So stop telling yourself, I'll start when the timing is better. The time will never be better than now. If you have a vision, start building it. If you have a dream, start chasing it. If you have a goal, start working on it. Don't wait for perfect timing. Make the timing perfect by starting today. Every decision you make is like planting a seed. Some seeds grow into trees that give shade, fruit, and life. Others grow into weeds that choke your progress. But here's the truth, you are the one planting them. The life you are living right now is a reflection of the choices you've made up to this point. And the life you will live tomorrow will be the result of the choices you make today. When you take ownership of your choices, you reclaim your power. You stop saying, I had no choice, because in reality you always do. You may not control every circumstance, but you control how you respond, and every response is a choice. Choosing discipline over laziness, faith over fear, action over procrastination. Those are the decisions that build character and shape destiny. Some people live their lives blaming their surroundings, their past, or their circumstances. But ownership means you stop pointing fingers and start pointing inward. It means you accept that where you are today is not just about what happened to you, it's about the choices you made along the way. That can be uncomfortable, but it's also empowering, because if your choices got you here, then better choices can take you somewhere greater. Owning your choices also means owning the consequences. Too many people want the reward without the responsibility, the success without the sacrifice. But every choice has a price tag. If you choose shortcuts, you pay with regret. If you choose discipline, you pay with effort, but you reap the reward of growth. The beauty of ownership is that it puts you in control of both the price and the prize. Greatness is never an accident. It's the result of intentional choices, repeated consistently. Every time you decide to wake up early, to study a little longer, to work a little harder, you're casting a vote for the future you want. And those votes add up, day after day, choice after choice. You are building the blueprint of your destiny. Even small choices matter. The way you speak to yourself, the people you spend time with, the habits you practice, all of these shape your direction. One wrong choice may not ruin you, but repeated choices in the wrong direction will. Likewise, one small right choice may not change everything overnight, but repeated right choices can completely transform your life. Ownership means paying attention to even the little decisions, because they compound over time. So take a hard look at your life. Ask yourself, are my choices leading me closer to my dreams or pulling me further away? When you own your choices, you own your life. And once you understand that, you no longer move carelessly, you move intentionally, because you know that every choice is a step toward the person you are becoming. Pain is something every one of us will face. It comes in many forms: loss, failure, rejection, betrayal, disappointment. You can't escape it, but you can decide what to do with it. Most people run from pain, hide from it, or let it crush them. But the truth is, pain can be your greatest teacher. When you choose to transform pain into purpose, you turn your wounds into wisdom and your struggles into strength. Pain can break you down, but it can also build you up. The difference lies in whether you use it or let it use you. If you dwell on the hurt, you stay stuck in it. But if you learn from it, if you take the lessons hidden in that pain, it becomes fuel. It pushes you to grow, to rise, and to create something greater than yourself. Think about it. The people who inspire us most are not those who had an easy ride. They are the ones who went through storms and still found the strength to stand. They turned their heartbreak into healing for others. They turned their failures into blueprints for success. They transformed pain into purpose. And that's why their stories live on. Your pain can become your power when you choose not to waste it. Every tear you've cried, every disappointment you've endured, every challenge you've survived, those are not meaningless. They are raw materials. They are the bricks you can use to build something powerful, something that not only lifts you but also lights the way for others. When you allow pain to become your teacher, you stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and start asking, "What can I do with this?" That simple shift changes everything. Suddenly, the struggle isn't just something you went through, it becomes something you grew through. And growth is where purpose is born. Purpose is rarely found in comfort. It is almost always found in struggle. The setbacks you thought would destroy you often become the very experiences that define your calling. That's because purpose is not discovered in ease, it's uncovered in endurance. Your scars are not signs of weakness, they are proof of survival, and they carry within them the power to inspire others. So instead of resenting your pain, embrace it. Use it as a reminder that you are still here, still fighting, still capable of creating meaning from the moments that tried to break you. Your pain may have been the chapter you never asked for, but your purpose can be the story you choose to write.